everyone, Lisa here. So we are in a totally different atmosphere right now. I had a suggestion from Sandra to show how I make my famous ribs, and this is like kind of for my daughter's birthday celebration, so this is kind of ongoing all week. So we're in my kitchen and we're gonna get everything ready to make my ribs. And I mean, this is just some of the ribs that I have, and I use baby back ribs. And I don't really do much to prepare them other than I'll trim off some extra fat off the back side of them. But that's the ribs. And this is not my recipe. This is actually a recipe I got from Alton Brown off of Good Eats. So it's a really good recipe. So you start off with 8 tablespoons of brown sugar. So there's 8. And then you put in 3 tablespoons of kosher salt. I highly recommend the kosher salt just because it's a little bit, gives you a little bit of a better rub for the ribs. And this recipe is only for 2 racks of ribs. I actually have 8 racks of ribs to do, but I'm just going to show you how to do it for 2. So, and then it's 1 tablespoon of chili powder. I mean, nothing you have to go out and get in particular. So 1 tablespoon of chili powder, then ½ a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and I forgot my teaspoon. So ½ a teaspoon of the black pepper. And you can adjust the seasonings for this depending on how hot you like it or how spicy. If you like lots of pepper. It says ½ a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, but I only add like 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then it's ½ a teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning. This is the Old Bay seasoning. I'm not sure if you know, you guys have it where you are, but it's readily available in my grocery store. So if not, it's like a basic seasoning that is for, it says for seafood, poultry, salads, and meats. I'll just show you what it looks like so you can kind of get an idea. So that's what it looks like. So ½ a teaspoon of that, then ½ a teaspoon of thyme, and then ½ a teaspoon of onion powder. Alright, so then you mix this all up until it's, you know, looks all mixed up. And then you're going to rub it onto your ribs, front and back. And then you're going to let that sit overnight. It says for a minimum of 4 hours to overnight. I usually let mine sit overnight. I just find it gets them a little bit juicier. So I'm just going to show you how I do it. There's nothing super fancy about the way I do it. I just got some bigger lumps of the brown sugar in here, so I'm just going to break them up. So all I do is just take a handful and just sprinkle it on. And then just rub it on. Just get it really good and coated, and then just flip it over and get the back side. And what the rub does is it takes a lot of the moisture out of the meat, so that way they get a bit of a better cooking on them, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but it takes a lot of the moisture out of it. Alright, so you can see that rub does 2 racks of ribs really well. The other thing I like to do is I'll just take the ends of the ribs and I'll just dip them into the spices there. and then just give it a good flip. All right, so that is gonna go in the fridge for overnight, and I will come back tomorrow and I will show you what we need to do. Okay, so we are back, and this is the next day, and I've let my ribs marinate, or like have the rub over them all night long. So this is the next day. So you take like a really big piece of heavy duty tin foil and just make sure it's really big. And then you're gonna wrap them up, but keep one end open. All right, so basically you're gonna have a little funnel that looks like that. And just leave it for now. All right, so I have my other one finished. So I have my 2 little funnels. So we're gonna set that aside for right now, and then we're gonna make the brine for it. So, or this is the braising fluid for it, I should say. So you need, make sure it's a microwavable measuring cup. And you need in here 1 cup of white wine. So I go super expensive, and I find a really inexpensive bottle of wine. And when I mean inexpensive, I usually find a bottle that's around $10, nothing fancy. This is the one I'm using this particular day. And you need a cup of that. Kasha, can you go get me a tablespoon and a teaspoon? So you get a cup of that. Next, you need 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. And this is, I mean, just a President's Choice kind that I use. And then you need 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. This is the kind that I'm using. It's Worcestershire sauce. I always say Worcestershire sauce because that's off of Bugs Bunny. So 2 tablespoons of that. And then you need 1 tablespoon of honey. And I go Costco size, so I'm just using this. And it's been crystallized, but I just throw it in the microwave for a little bit. All right, so that's the honey, and then you need 2 cloves of crushed garlic. So just squeeze those in there. Oops, not that one. All right, just get the crushed garlic in there, and I always make sure that I just get the little bit left, like at the bottom, because you're just using this for flavoring, so it doesn't matter if it's super chunky. And then you're gonna microwave this for a couple minutes, and so we're gonna do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have my braising fluid, and I have my oven set to 250, and I'm sorry, the dogs are barking, but my mom's here. So we have the oven set to 250, and we're gonna take this braising fluid and we're gonna divide it up between the 2, and we're going to seal it up and put it in the oven for 2.5 hours at 250 degrees. So let's seal that up. All right, and then they're going in the oven for 2.5 hours, and I will show you what they look like in 2.5 hours. Okay, so our ribs have cooked for 2.5 hours. I should have mentioned that you can do these on the barbecue as well. Just have to really watch your temperature. You don't want to get it too hot. So I'm just going to show you what they look like. So this is our ribs here. And you're gonna have all this extra fluid on it. What you can do is you can drain the fluid off and make a sauce out of it. I actually like it better if I just use my favorite barbecue sauce. So I'm just gonna show you. we will do this like a typical cooking show where you cut into them and you can see all of the goodness. Normally you want to let these sit for 5 minutes at least before you cook it, but you can see they just fall right off the bone. So deliciously goodness. So that's the recipe for you guys. Hope you try it out and enjoy. These are going on the barbecue, and I'll put my barbecue sauce on them, and so good. Wish you were here. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye.